In the glittering world of high society, Damian Sterling, the billionaire CEO and Mafia boss, spotted Anastasia Steele at his lavish birthday banquet in a New York penthouse overlooking the city skyline. She was just 18, innocent and naive, her wide eyes taking in the opulent surroundings filled with crystal chandeliers and elite guests sipping champagne from Cartier flutes. Damian's obsessive alpha male instincts ignited instantly. This was a marriage of convenience he would force into reality. Enemies to lovers be damned. He whisked her away in his sleek Maybach, the possessive husband in him already declaring her as his little wife, mine to ruin. Back at his sprawling Italian villa, transported by a private jet, Damian ensured Anastasia's family faced ruin. He orchestrated their bankruptcy with ruthless precision, even sending her parents to prison on fabricated charges, all in the name of revenge against anyone who dared oppose his claim. The grumpy sunshine dynamic played out as Anastasia, clueless and trusting, kept asking when she could go home to her mommy, her voice trembling in the vast marble halls. Damian, the dominant force, coaxed her with lies about monsters capturing her parents, insisting she behave like a good girl to free them. She believed him, her submissive nature yielding to his obsessive control. As time passed in the luxury lifestyle of penthouse suites and Van Cleef jewelry dripping from her neck, Anastasia's belly swelled with pregnancy, the heir to his empire growing inside her. Damian couldn't risk taking her to the grim prison to see her emaciated parents, but she begged him to release them, offering herself fully. Whatever he wanted, touch her and die for anyone else. Her parents, desperate to escape, agreed. Losing a daughter meant nothing to them. The deal worked. Anastasia stopped clamoring to leave, settling into the forced marriage with quiet resignation. Soon, she gave birth to their son in a private clinic aboard a yacht docked in crystalline waters. But Anastasia couldn't muster affection for the baby, finding him less appealing than her cherished doll. She grew listless in the opulent red room of their New York penthouse, speaking little, tossing away whatever Damian offered. Even $1 million diamond ring flung out the window like sand. His face darkened with jealousy and rage, the possessive husband emerging as he confronted her defiance. She's mine. Every breath she takes belongs to me. Anastasia turned away, playing with her doll silently. Damian's obsessive alpha male fury boiled over. He snatched the doll and hurled it to the floor, his voice cold. Undeterred, she bent to retrieve it, but he stomped on it mercilessly, grinding the face to shreds under his foot. Tears streamed down her face as she pounded his chest, demanding he replace her doll, a gift from her mother. This shattered Damian's last restraint. He scooped her up and stormed to the cluttered storage room in the villa's basement, tossing her inside like punishment for a naughty submissive. The door locked with a click, plunging her into darkness. Anastasia's claustrophobia gripped her. She banged on the door, screaming for release, her body shaking. From childhood, she'd needed a nightlight, but here the dim, damp space pressed in like a tomb. She huddled in a corner, pulling a large cardboard box over herself for protection, whispering pleas against invisible monsters. Exhaustion overtook her amid sobs, and she drifted into fitful sleep, mumbling fears. Evening came, and Damian returned from a boozy business meeting on his private jet, slightly intoxicated. He stumbled to the bedroom, calling for his baby girl, only to remember her confinement. Rushing to the storage room, he unlocked it and flipped on the light, scanning the shadows. Spotting the trembling box, he moved it aside to find Anastasia curled up, muttering about monsters, her face pale. Guilt flickered in his dominant eyes as he gathered her into his arms, cooing like she was a child. Back in the lavish bedroom with silk sheets and ocean views from the yacht-inspired windows, Anastasia clung to his neck, shadows of trauma lingering. Damian buried his face in her neck, inhaling her scent, slurring how sweet and tempting his little wife was, his hands wandering to her clothes in a haze of possession. She whimpered about pain, but he teased darkly about the monsters in the storage room starving. Fear spiked. She clutched him tighter, begging not to go back. You're mine, baby girl. No one else touches what's mine. Damian kissed her neck, carrying her to bed where he proceeded despite her tears, his actions a mix of high sweet tenderness and high abuse dominance. She buried her face in the pillow, sobbing as he ignored her pleas, his jealousy-fueled revenge playing out in the intimate punishment. Hours later, at 3 in the morning, he held her exhausted form, the alcohol fading. Anastasia slipped from his embrace, gathering the broken doll's pieces. Its head was severed, impossible to mend. She dressed quietly in the walk-in closet lined with luxury brands, hugging the ruined toy, and sneaked out into the moonlit night. The quiet streets chilled her, but she pressed on, fear gnawing. After hours of wandering, dawn breaking, she collapsed on the steps of a fast food joint, dozing against the shuttered door. The owner arrived, shaking her awake. A kind woman who eyed Anastasia's designer clothes suspiciously. Begging for work, Anastasia explained her parents had abandoned her, nowhere to go. The woman relented, hiring her for menial tasks in the back kitchen, washing dishes since cooking proved beyond her clumsy grasp. Damien awoke late, stretching in the penthouse bed, calling for his little wife. Silence answered. Noticing doll remnants on the floor, panic surged. He searched the villa frantically, bathrooms, gardens, nothing. Cursing her newfound boldness, he rallied his team, phoning contacts, racing out in his Maybach without changing, scouring the city in a frenzy of obsessive search. At the diner, Anastasia fumbled through chores, scalding her hand once but earning praise from the owner for persistence. She asked for needle and thread to mend her doll. The woman, stern yet kind, sewed it herself in the back room. Outside, Damien's men canvassed the area, showing photos. Someone mentioned spotting her at a nearby noodle shop, but Damien dismissed it, assuming her timidity wouldn't lead her to strangers. He left, missing her by inches. The next day, the diner buzzed. Anastasia scrubbed dishes frantically when the owner thrust a delivery order at her, complete with navigation on a phone. She pedaled off on a bike, exhausted from the morning rush. Nearing the destination, a stone tripped her wheel. She tumbled, scraping skin, the food spilling in a mess of shattered boxes and soup. Limping to the door, she knocked, facing a burly man who roared about the delay and damage. Tears fell as he grabbed her hair, raising a fist. Bystanders watched but feared intervening. Suddenly, a sports car screeched up. Damien exploded from it, pummeling the man without a word. His guards subdued the thug as Damien turned to Anastasia, towering over her coldly, demanding if she'd run again. She trembled under his grumpy gaze. He scooped her up, buckling her into the passenger seat of his private fleet vehicle, wiping her tears silently during the high-speed drive home. In the opulent living room, he set her on the sofa, squatting to meet her eyes, mocking her bravery in finding a job. Checking for injuries, his touch was a blend of care and possession. Anastasia shifted away, biting her lip, tears flowing. Damien's anger softened. He asked if he'd treated her poorly enough to flee. She mumbled about the destroyed doll, the storage room terror, calling him a bad man. He pulled her close from behind, apologizing, coaxing her not to leave. The world was full of dangers, like that brute. She recalled the man's violence. Damien might be possessive, but he protected her. Reluctantly, she agreed to stay, demanding a separate room. Anything to keep her, he complied, ordering staff to prepare one in the villa. He retrieved her phone and mended doll from the diner, declining her wages. Returning, he found her door locked. Teasing with the doll through the crack, he lured her to open it. Handing it over, he probed if anyone had touched her during her escape, his tone laced with jealousy. She shook her head, relieved. He suggested an outing. Excitement lit her eyes. She grabbed his hand, forgetting recent pains. They drove to a flashy club pulsing with lights, Damien calling it an amusement park to entice. Inside, the manager greeted the billionaire CEO effusively, leading to a private booth. But screams echoed. Anastasia peered in to see the burly man from earlier nailed to the wall, bloodied and terrified. Fear gripped her. She begged to leave. Damien laughed it off, seating her on a plush sofa with darts and drinks, red wine for him, orange juice for her. The man recognized them, pleading for mercy. Damien sipped, then hurled a dart near his shoulder. The punishment a display of touch her and die wrath. He pulled Anastasia close, forcing a dart into her hand, guiding her aim in a dominant embrace, whispering darkly to throw. She refused, shaking. Accidentally, the tip grazed Damien's face. His eyes flashed with rage. She backed away, but he yanked her back, hugging tight. Ignoring her bites and struggles, he flung another dart, wounding the man severely. He collapsed, perhaps dead from pain or fear. Damien forced her to look, warning that angering him could make her the target next. She whimpered she didn't want that. He laughed, the final revenge lesson to ensure obedience. She blew on his bite mark gently, then kissed the scratch, her survival instincts kicking in despite her simplicity. He ordered the body disposed, leading her from the club back to the penthouse. There, he confronted her about separate rooms. Terrified, she relented, following to the master's suite where curtains drew automatically. He demanded she show her body. Reluctantly, she unzipped, dropping clothes, blushing. Damien pounced, tearing fabric in a frenzy of high H intensity. Wall-like pressure, car-shake echoes in the bed's motion, bath-inspired steaminess without water, red rope hints in binding wrists with his belt. She sobbed he was a big bad wolf, tears blurring as he dominated without pause until she fainted from exhaustion. For 3 days she couldn't walk, bedridden in luxury. Bored, she played with blocks and puzzles. The nanny brought their son. Suddenly, Anastasia felt a spark. No longer repulsed, she held him, smiling at his eyes. Damien passed with coffee, joining them, asking if the baby had been fed. The child babbled. At 34 months, no words yet. A call interrupted, his sister, furious about the marriage and child. Damien dismissed her, hanging up. Anastasia gazed out the window, escape tempting. While he used the bathroom, she hugged the baby and dashed to the door. He caught her, reminding her she'd forgotten underwear. She huffed back, calling him bad. Amused yet annoyed, he suggested garden play, dismissing gardeners to leave them alone. In the lush grounds with Italian fountains, high sweet moments turned high abuse. Behind a tree, her cries echoed in possessive punishment. Tearing clothes subtly, belt hints, wall against bark. Later, at another birthday banquet in the Grand Hall, Anastasia dressed glamorously beside her possessive husband. Guests fawned. Damien introduced her proudly, chatting business while she sneaked cakes. His sister and a friend approached maliciously, hurling cake at her, shoving her down, calling her names. Damien rushed from the restroom, cradling her, rubbing her bumped head, scolding his sister harshly, threatening to freeze cards and ban the friend. Anastasia sobbed. He carried her home in the private jet vibe limo, cooing apologies, distracting with toys until she slept, eyes swollen. His mother called, doubting Anastasia's innocence based on the sister's lies. Damien defended her fiercely, believing his baby girl incapable of harm. That night, he held her close. But trauma lingered. She avoided cakes, fearing beatings. Damien helped her heal slowly. A work call came. He needed to sign contracts. She urged him to go, but he insisted she join at the office to prevent escapes. Locked in his vast office with toys and snacks, she wandered, doodling on papers, houses, trees, stick figures. Returning, Damien saw the ruined subsidiary contracts, nearly fainting. But her innocent smile melted his anger. He educated her gently about important files, tossing the mess, taking her to lunch. Unbeknownst, his sister sneaked in, retrieving the paper with Anastasia's scrawl, plotting revenge. Pregnant with their second child, Anastasia stayed home under tight watch in the luxury villa. Damien busied with deals, rarely home. A delivery arrived, files. A maid took them upstairs while Anastasia napped. She awoke to chaos. His sister burst in with police, accusing theft of company contracts with her signature forged. Terrified, Anastasia denied everything, crying as they searched, yanking blankets, finding the planted document in a toy box. Handcuffed, she was hauled to the station, sobbing for Damien. He arrived breathless. She begged for rescue. But seeing the evidence, her clumsy writing, he doubted, asking if she'd faked stupidity. Police agreed it was a ploy for assets. Heartbroken, he acquiesced. Pregnant, She got 5 years, isolated in a better cell for safety. But his sister bribed inmates. Daily beatings ensued, hair-pulling mockery. Food laced with dirt and stones. She picked through it painstakingly. Childbirth came in prison. The baby was whisked away by Damien's family. Collapsed mentally, she cried endlessly. Over 5 years, Damien visited, noting oddities like heavy blankets year-round. Doubts grew. Discovering tampered footage, he uncovered the sister's sabotage. Furious, he demanded release. Anastasia emerged frail, clutching her dirty doll, murmuring for home. Spotting his fleet of luxury cars, she fled in terror upon seeing him. Guards caught her. He draped his coat over her shivering form, but she pushed away, crying to go home. Misunderstanding, he hugged tighter, bundling her into the SUV. She huddled in the corner, repeating pleas for parents. At the villa, she refused to enter, insisting it wasn't home, collapsing in sobs. He carried her in, but she cursed him as bad. Medical checks revealed anemia, brain trauma. Bathing her, he discovered bruises and scars, permanent marks of high abuse. She clung to the doll. He tried cleaning it, but she wailed about innocence. The sons entered. The elder called her a thieving crazy per his aunt's words, rejecting her. Damien spanked him, defending her. Dinner was tense. The boys refused to eat with her, hurling insults. She froze, tears falling. Damien fed her spoonfuls. The elder's taunts made her bolt toward a wall as if to crash. Damien restrained her. Nights, she shrank from his touch, wrapping in blankets alone. Mornings brought accidents. She'd soiled herself unknowingly. Damien bathed her tenderly, diapering her for dignity. The boys ate upstairs, hating her. He promised strawberry cake, leaving briefly. Alone, the elder snatched her doll, tossing it into snow, locking her out. She retrieved it, freezing in the blizzard, huddling at the door as consciousness faded. The younger felt pity, but the elder ignored. Damien returned to find her hypothermic, rushing her inside, warming her in the red room with private jet blankets. Guilt consumed the possessive husband. His obsessive alpha male protectiveness had failed. She's mine to ruin, but I'll fix every scar. Rehabilitation began in luxury, therapy in Italian manners, yacht outings. Slowly, high sweet moments returned amid jealousy-fueled care, but the age gap and forced marriage scars lingered in dark romance shadows. The heir children warmed eventually, the family mending in penthouse bliss, touch her and die vows renewed.